for another video. My name is Josh Kasich, and today is my Inuyasha review. Now, this is actually a pretty long anime. It goes to like 193 episodes, and it's kind of an old anime. I'm not exactly sure how old, but I knew about this anime for a long time because my cousin loved this series, and well, I don't know why it took so long for me to watch the series, but a sequel series about the children of the characters from Inuyasha came out. Well, it's been out for a while, but now the episodes start playing on Toonami on cable, and so which I usually watch anime, and because I don't really have a lot of streaming services lately, I actually have a free trial on Hulu, so I'm actually watching more anime now, but than I used to. But I normally just used to just watch anime on Toonami, and so I had to figure out a way to watch Inuyasha because I have no context to any of the characters. And for the sequel, I mean, not the children, because obviously the children are new, but the parents I have no context for. So not that they're actually much in the series, but like the first episode has them, and so you don't understand what's going on unless you know the characters. So I had to figure out a way to watch the show. So I got a free trial for Hulu, and I benched watch Inuyasha, and I finished it. So that was actually pretty recently. I think I finished it like a week ago, was it? I think something like that. But yeah. And I have to. So essentially, how the plot goes is that we're 50 years before the actual time of the show. You have this thing called the Sinking Jewel, which it was created from priestess, a soul of a priestess, and soul of demons, years before this time I'm talking about right now. And now, because it has such this power, both demons and humans are after it. And it was put under the protection of this powerful priestess named Kikyo, who has spiritual powers, and it can launch this spiritual power in her bow and arrows. And so she has to protect, like I said, she has to protect the Sinking Jewel. And then eventually she has to battle this one demon, and in the process of battling this one demon, another person shows up, and this is a half demon named Inuyasha, who is part dog yokai. So the demon part of himself is a dog yokai, and what happens is his father, being a full dog yokai, married a human, or fell in love with a human, and produced him, obviously. But he had no idea of the Sinking Jewel. He's just going around trying to defeat demons to get stronger. And he discovered in this battle with Kikyo versus the other demon about the Sinking Jewel. And he realized, well, if it has such power, I might be able to become full demon with it, because he feels so inferior with that human self of his. And so when he actually goes for the Sinking Jewel, Kikyo, instead of like actually killing him like the other demons, she just keeps make him stuck to a tree with her arrows. And he couldn't figure out why she kept doing this. So he wants to talk to her. They get to know each other, and they even fall in love with each other. And this is causes conflict, because she feels what she considers a normal woman. She feels like she couldn't be a normal woman because she has to protect the Sinking Jewel. So she tells Inuyasha, if you take the Sinking Jewel and wish to be half or not be full human instead of full demon for a non-selfish cause, the Sinking Jewel will be purified and then destroyed. And so in this way she could be a normal woman and be with him. And so that's, or like I said, what she thinks is a normal woman. and to settle down, have children, stuff like that. And but unfortunately, uh, another character named Umigumo, who was a thief who was badly burned, Kikyo was helping him in a cave near the village he is. Now she also protects this village as well as her little sister Kaede, and but when he Umigumo, basically being really in bad condition, wants to be with Kikyo after because Kikyo was helping her, but he realizes that Kikyo is with Inuyasha, so he asks the demons to engulf his body so that he can be reborn with these demons. But unfortunately, that doesn't exactly go to plan. He technically was reborn, but not as Umigumo, but as Naraku. And Naraku could care less about Kikyo, although he couldn't necessarily kill Kikyo because of still kind of that he's still part human from Umigumo, although he does fatally injure Kikyo, which she does eventually dies from, but that's more of an after effect of attacking her and not actually attempting to kill her or anything like that. So Umigumo, pretends to be Inuyasha and tricks Kikyo into coming a little bit earlier than planned to give Inuyasha the sinking jewel. And when she does, she's caught off guard by Inuyasha attacking her, which was really Umigumo. And he takes the sinking jewel and tells her, I never want to be full human, I want to be full demon, and I'm going to attack the villagers. But he also wanted to trick Inuyasha, so he puts the sinking jewel back, pretends to be Kikyo, and tries to attack Inuyasha. And so Inuyasha goes back to the village, attacks it, takes the sinking jewel, and then he kind of runs near this thing called the Tree of Ages, which goes beyond time. And Kikyo launches an arrow at his heart, or whatever, which technically kills him, but also doesn't kill him because he's more just stuck in a sleep death where he doesn't age or whatever, but he can still be revived if the arrow is taken out. Which comes into later. Now, before Kikyo died, he asked her little sister Kaede to burn her body with the sinking jewel. And also, Kaede lost an eye, which is actually explained later in this series. But Kikyo, after Kikyo told Kaede that she dies, and then her body's burned with the sinking jewel. But because she still loved Inuyasha, that kind of made a wish on the sinking jewel, and so several years later, in modern time, not modern time like as of right now, more I think closer to when this anime came out, or maybe a little bit earlier than that. But I don't know exact dates, but Kiko is reincarnated as a girl named Kagome, who's a junior high student. I don't know exactly how the grades work, but the final year of middle school. So the final school of middle school, and the sinking jewel's inside her body. Now she lives with her little brother Soda, her mother, and her grandfather. We don't know where the dad is, but he might have died. I don't know. I don't think from watching, I don't think they ever. I don't remember them explaining that he. So there's that. But they also have a cat, and one day the cat went to this building with an old well in it, and Soda didn't want to go down there because it was dark. So Kagome goes down there, and then a demon named Lady Centipede comes out of the wave trying to get the sinking jewel that's inside Kagome, and drags her into it, and takes out the sinking jewel or whatever, and now they're back now they're gone to the past, and now, as I mentioned, the past is the feudal era. So she goes back to the feudal era, but this is 50 years from the time with Kikyo and all that stuff. And she's battling out, the villagers are trying to attack the centipede in the village and stuff like that, who has the sinking jewel. And this battle goes to when she first appears in the world, she actually runs to the Tree of Ages and actually sees Inuyasha, but then goes to the village or whatever, and then they all battle with Lady Centipede, and it goes back to the Tree of Ages, and then she, much to Kaede, and now Kaede is, you know, an old woman now because it's 50 years later. I mentioned that, I forgot to mention that part, but yeah, so she decides, much to Kaede's and the village's dismay, she releases Inuyasha to help her destroy the demon, and he does, but then was about to get the sinking jewel, but Kaede created a necklace type thing where it goes around Inuyasha, and then told Kagome to say something, so she says "sit boy," and this makes it permanently stuck to him, so he can never take the necklace, and every time she says "sit boy," he face plants, and it's meant for like a comedic purposes throughout the anime or the series. Then at first, you know, Inuyasha wasn't really happy with this event, right? And he didn't like Kagome. At first, he thought Kagome was Kiko because they look the same as she's reincarnate, but but they decide now they have to protect the Sinking Jewel now again from demons and humans, and which they were doing for a while. But then a demon bird actually swallowed it and became stronger. But you know, Kagome kind of having the powers of Kikyo, although at first she wasn't good at shooting arrows, but she managed to hit the raven demon bird, which destroyed the bird, but also broke the Shaking Jewel into shards, which spread it everywhere. So now Inuyasha and Kagome have to travel together to get cover the shards. But then they found now, and some of the protagonists they first had to face Inuyasha's half brother, who's full demon, who's older than him, and Susumaru, who's followed by another demon, his servant, Jacken. And he's like it. And reason why is Susumaru hates humans, so he finds Inuyasha inferior, a disgrace to the family line, and there's this entire battle in the in front of their dad's grave. Now, dog yokais are actually really giant, although they could take human forms or human appearances. They're really giant, and so his father's is huge at the gravesite. But there, Inuyasha gets a sword that's actually created from his father's fangs, meant for him, which Susumaru wanted to get, but there was a spell on it that wouldn't let him. And the reason why it was for Inuyasha is because Inuyasha, when he's so close to death, his demon blood is unleashed, making him kind of full demon, only for a little bit, but in the process kind of destroying his soul. Not necessarily like killing his soul, but like, his goodness, his, stuff like that. So the Tetsaiga is actually meant to actually control that demon blood so that wouldn't happen. So that he was the first protagonist. Now, Susumaru has his own sword that's actually from his father with Fang, but that only it only brings people back from the dead, as well as cut a kind of a portal to the underworld to send people there. So it's not really a battling sword, but eventually Susumaru gets like another sword, and then that sword gets destroyed, and then gets another sword after that. But that's kind of besides the point. So he's got, now the main villain is Naraku, obviously, because he's still alive, he's half demon, and so the main villain of the series is defeating Naraku. Along the way, they meet a monk. Oh no! First, along the way, they have to face. They never actually. Naraku never really does battling. He always sends demons after them, or reincarnates of himself. Like, he could take pieces of bodies and create like incarnates of himself, which are still demons, obviously, which also do battle. So those are pretty much the main protagonists and stuff. But there's some other demons that appear that have nothing to do with Naraku that are still bad. For instance, the first friend that they kind of pick up in the gang is Snippo, a little fox demon whose parents were killed by these two demons, which Inuyasha comes along and defeats. Alright, I'm kind of cutting off the review because it took so long. I kind of, while filming the entire, it took about like 30 minutes because there's just so much to go over. But so I kind of probably mentioned at the end of this full video that most likely split this in two parts. Obviously, you're going to be seeing this first because that will be in the second part, me explaining that. So obviously that's what I'm saying here, that this is going to be split into two parts. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first part, and if you did, please leave a like. If you are new, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified for my next upload. My YouTube channel website link, my Twitter, my Snapchat, and Instagram are all in the description as always. And thank you, goodbye.